The evolution of mobility, how driving modes transformed movement from level 0 to level 5. Let's take a slow, thoughtful journey through the evolution of mobility. Today, we're not focusing on what powers vehicles, not engines, not batteries, but on how we have driven, how our driving modes have changed over time. From rail-based fixed-route transportation to the freedom of road-based personal travel to power-assisted driving to electronic and sensor-based ADAS, and finally to autonomous driving from level 0 all the way to level 5. As we move through this story, we'll see how each shift in driving mode has changed the very meaning of movement. Let's walk through it one stage at a time. 6 stages of driving mode evolution. The evolution of driving modes is not just a tale of better machines. It is a story of how humans experience movement told in 6 major stages. The first stage is the rail-based fixed era. Movement existed, but what we now call driving did not. The second stage is the road freedom era, where internal combustion vehicles opened up personal, destination-based mobility. The third stage is the power assist era, where technology began to reduce the physical burden of driving. The fourth stage is the electronic sensor and ADAS era, where vehicles started to sense their surroundings, detect danger, and intervene when necessary. The fifth stage is the semi-autonomous and conditional automation era, centered around level 2 and level 3, where the driver gradually shifts from being a constant operator to a supervisor and standby user. And the sixth stage is the high and full automation era, levels 4 and 5, where the act of driving itself begins to disappear and mobility becomes a service and experience. Now, let's dive deeper into each of these 6 stages. Rail-based fixed era, no applicable level. First, the rail-based fixed era. In this period, people and goods moved by horse-drawn carriages, steam locomotives, and rail systems. But in this world, there was almost no concept of driving as we understand it today. The route was determined by the rails. The time was determined by the timetable. There was no steering wheel to turn, no brake pedal to manage, no real-time decision-making about traffic or road conditions. People did not travel to their own personal destinations. They moved from station to station within a system designed for transport, not personal driving. Because there was no road-based personal driving, the SAE levels from level 0 to level 5 simply do not apply here. This era is best understood as the historical backdrop, the stage that had to exist before the revolution of road-based personal mobility could begin. Road freedom era, level 0. Now we move into the road freedom era, the beginning of level 0. With Carl Benz's automobile in 1885 and later the Ford Model T and mass-produced cars, humanity gained something truly transformative, the ability to travel whenever I want to wherever I choose, using roads instead of rails. No more fixed tracks. No more rigid schedules. For the first time, people could drive directly to their own destinations. But in SAE terms, this era is still level 0, fully manual driving. Steering, acceleration, braking, awareness of surroundings, hazard detection, every part of the dynamic driving task was handled entirely by the human driver. Tiller-type steering, manual gear shifting, mechanical brakes, all of it was heavy, demanding and unforgiving. Long-distance driving meant intense fatigue and high accident risk. So this era can be summarized as freedom of movement opened up, but that freedom came at the cost of the full burden of driving being placed on the human. Power assist era, level 0 to level 1. Next, we enter the power assist era, roughly from the 1920s to the 1950s. In this stage, technology begins to address the physical pain of driving. Hydraulic brakes dramatically reduce the force needed to stop the car. Automatic transmissions simplify gear shifting, removing the constant need for manual clutch and gear work. Power steering lightens the steering effort, turning what used to be a heavy, tiring task into something much more manageable. Air conditioning makes driving bearable in hot weather, turning the cabin into a more comfortable space. Together, these technologies reduce steering and braking effort by more than 70%. Long-distance driving becomes far more feasible. More people, including women and older adults, can sit behind the wheel, expanding the democratization of mobility. In SAE terms, this era is still mostly level 0, but some features start to resemble early level 1 driver assistance. This is a crucial turning point. We move from freedom through driving to reducing the burden of driving. Safety electronic era, level 1 to level 2. Now we step into the safety and electronic era, roughly from the 1950s to around 2010. In this period, vehicles evolved from simple mechanical machines into systems that can sense, evaluate, and intervene. Cruise control maintains a constant speed. 3-point seat belts and airbags become standard life-saving technologies. ABS prevents the wheels from locking during hard braking, allowing the driver to steer while braking. ESC helps prevent skids and rollovers, dramatically improving stability. GPS navigation reduces the mental load of route planning. And then come more advanced ADAS features: automatic emergency braking, lane keeping assistance, blind spot monitoring. These systems show that vehicles are beginning to see the environment, understand risk, and intervene to protect the driver and passengers. In SAE terms, this era corresponds to level 1 and early level 2. At level 1, the system assists either steering or speed. At level 2, it can assist both at the same time, but the driver must still monitor the environment and remain fully responsible. In this era, the driver slowly shifts from being a pure operator to becoming a supervisor. Semi-autonomous era, level 2. Now we arrive at the semi-autonomous era, where level 2 becomes a real, everyday experience. From the 2010s onward, integrated ADAS systems bring semi-autonomous driving into the mainstream. Tesla Autopilot, GM Super Cruise, and similar systems combine lane centering with adaptive cruise control. On highways, the car can keep itself in the center of the lane, maintain distance from the car ahead, and handle much of the moment-to-moment control. To the driver, it can feel like the car is almost driving itself. But here is the key point. Even at level 2, the driver must continuously supervise. The system may control both steering and speed, but it does not take over legal responsibility. The driver must watch the road, stay alert, and be ready to intervene at any moment. If an accident occurs, the legal responsibility still lies primarily with the human driver. This era exposes a growing tension. Technology is moving toward higher autonomy, but laws and responsibility are still anchored in the level 2 world. Level 3, conditional automation. Next, we reach level 3, the stage of conditional automation. This is the first true legal turning point in the history of autonomous driving. Examples include Mercedes Drive Pilot and Honda's Legend Level 3 system. In Level 3, within a defined operational design domain, ODD, the system takes over all dynamic driving tasks, DDT, and handles object and event detection and response, OEDR. In certain conditions, for example, highway traffic jams with predictable behavior, the driver can take their hands off the wheel and does not need to constantly watch the road. The human shifts from driver to standby user, someone who must be ready to take over when the system requests it, but who is not actively driving moment to moment. The most important change is in legal responsibility. In level 3 operation, if the system is in control and an accident occurs, some or even most of the liability may shift from the human to the manufacturer or system provider. Level 3 is the first stage where we can say driving is no longer always mandatory. Sometimes it becomes optional. Level 4, high automation. Now we move into level 4, the era of high automation. In level 4, vehicles can operate fully driverless within a defined geofenced area. Companies like Waymo Cruise and Zoox are leading examples of this stage. By 2026, Waymo is operating in multiple cities, providing hundreds of thousands of fully driverless rides every week. In level 4 operation, the vehicle can start the trip, navigate the route, handle traffic, stop safely, pick up passengers and drop them off, all without a human driver. The driver's seat may be empty or may not even exist in the traditional sense. However, level 4 is still limited by its operational design domain. Outside the defined city zones, outside certain conditions, the system may refuse to operate or may hand over control. Even with these limits, level 4 proves something profound. Driving is no longer a necessary human task. Mobility is beginning to transform into a service that you simply request and experience. Level 5, full automation. Finally, we arrive at level 5, the stage of full automation. Level 5 represents a world where vehicles can operate in all environments, on all roads, in all weather conditions, with no human driver at any time. There may be no steering wheel, no pedals, and no traditional driver's seat. Humans are no longer drivers at all. They are pure passengers. The vehicle perceives its surroundings in 360 degrees, understands the road, traffic, weather, and unexpected events, and responds entirely on its own. During travel, people can work, hold meetings, rest, or enjoy entertainment. Travel time shifts from time that is consumed to time that is created, time that can be used for something meaningful. At this stage, the core question of mobility is no longer do you own a car, but what kind of experience does your mobility provide? Level 5 is not just the technological endpoint. It is the stage where the very meaning of movement is rewritten. 6 stages of driving mode evolution. Summary. Let's bring everything together and summarize the 6 stages of driving mode evolution. In the rail-based fixed era, movement existed, but driving did not. In the road freedom era, level 0, personal mobility opened up, but the entire burden fell on the human driver. In the power assist era, level 01, the physical strain of driving was reduced and mobility became more widely accessible. In the electronic and ADAS era, level 1-2, vehicles began to perceive and intervene, and drivers gradually became supervisors. In the semi-autonomous and conditional era, level 2-3, driving started to become a part-time activity as technology advanced faster than regulation. And in the high and full automation era, level 4-5, driving itself begins to disappear and mobility transforms into a service and an experience. If we compress this journey into a single line, level 0 opened freedom, levels 1 and 2 reduced burden, levels 3 and 4 made driving optional, level 5 redefined mobility itself. That is the story of how driving modes have reshaped human movement. The essence of mobility evolution. To close, let's return to the essence of everything we've explored. The evolution of mobility is not just about better engines, bigger batteries, or more advanced sensors. At its core, it is about how the human experience of movement has changed. From the democratization of mobility to greater convenience to intelligence, and finally to full automation, this transformation has been shaped by two major axes. The energy axis from Euro 1 to Euro 7 and the driving mode axis from level 0 to level 5. In the future, the key question will shift from what powers the vehicle to what kind of experience does mobility offer. When the way we move changes, the way we live changes with it. And right now, in this very moment, we stand at the center of that transformation.